How are you?
Dude, I am good. Glad to have you on here. And I want to get this from you to start. We're going to talk about all the crazy stuff going on with the NBA, the play in chase, and everything else. But you have maybe my favorite NBA story of the 21st century. And I don't want to wait till it get this long. We get to the end and we forget about it. So, for the people who don't know, can you tell the people about that time Paul Silas and Ira Newble had a conversation in front of you in
Oh man,
Atlanta?
are we allowed? What's the cussing rule? I
Oh, it's
guess
all
it's
fair
there's.
game, baby. We got editing, baby. We got edited.
All right, I hate to make your fine producers do extra work. Okay, just something I have to say. This is my first year on the beat, age 25 years old, soaking wet behind the ears. Okay, that's number one. Number two, this is the second week of the season. All right, Paul Silas, may he rest in peace. He just recently passed away. Was like a mentor to me. I'll never have a coach journalist relationship like that. You probably even shouldn't. I admired the man greatly. He taught me so much, and including taught me a lot on this particular day. So the game was in Atlanta. The Cavs was LeBron James' rookie year. The Cavs were off to a bad start, maybe 2-7, something along those lines. They're not playing well. They're playing in Atlanta. Ira Newble was a guy the Cavs had signed in the offseason, role player, wingman. Wingman, swingman. He had played in Atlanta the last few years and lived in Atlanta. And he had just gotten his big contract, like a $15 million deal. The big thing for him. He had invited a bunch of friends and family to the game. And in come the Cavs. And Silas decided he was going to make some changes. And he, I think, played Ira maybe 3 minutes in the whole game. So Ira was embarrassed in front of his friends and family and upset about not getting playing time. And the Cavs lost again. And so after the game was over, he decided to go see Paul Silas in the coach's office, at the visiting team coach's office, and have a little say about his lack of playing time. And to set the lay of the land, the coach's office has a door to the hallway where the media is, and the locker room has a door to the hallway where the media is. They're kind of side by side. And so Paul is in there and Ira is in there, and we start to hear screaming through the door. All of a sudden, the door flies open, and out comes Ira Newble. He's dressed, but he's not like buttoned down. Okay, like there's shirts are open, like, and he is on his way out of the office in a hurry. And on his heels comes 63-year-old Paul Silas. We call him the Grizzly Bear. Right on his heels, coming out of the door into the hallway where the media is. Ira like bumps into one of the media members, and he turns back around and sees Silas on his heels. And Silas goes, "Get back here, you hip hop mother." And Silas, Ira had like long braids. I don't know if that's what Silas was saying. And Ira turns around and he goes, "I don't care about you. I don't care about you." And Silas goes, "You get your ass back in this office. You're going to care about me." And I'm standing there, Bomani, in between Silas and Ira in this hallway, like petrified, petrified. And Silas has this look on his face, like he's ready to go. And Paul had all these scars around his eyes and forehead, all these stitches marks, because back when he played in the NBA in the 60s and 70s, he went to war with dudes, and he was not afraid to throw down. In fact, there was another player, and I don't want to get aggregated, and I don't want to speak ill of anybody's out of the league anymore, but there was another player the next year that Paul took him by the shirt and threw him into a locker. So that player wasn't on the team for very much longer. So this was like this incredible moment. And Ira like bugged out and ran away. And Paul just kind of did this sniff, like, in my head he spit, but I don't think he really spit. He just sniffed. Like, "I took care of that sniveling punk. Who's next?" And I talked to him about it, weeks later, and he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "I was thrilled." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Oh man, I was looking for a fight. I was looking for someone to send a message. A team was playing like crap, and I was looking to send a message. He came in, and it was a godsend." And I go, "Well, you couldn't have liked that he went out the door. You'd probably preferred him to go in the locker room, instead of go out there." He's like, "No, I'm glad you all saw it." So, this is a difficult situation. Here's the other thing, Bomani. The players didn't know kind of it happened because it happened in front of the media. This is the inverse situation. Normally, the stuff goes down in the locker room, media doesn't know about it, and you get in the locker room after the game and you can feel like something just happened, but no one's talking. Now this is the inverse. Now we saw it. We go, but the locker room hadn't opened yet. So we go into the locker room like I don't know, 4 minutes later, the players don't know. They're completely unaware. I mean, maybe they saw Ira go in there. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Ira was like, I'm going to go talk to that, SOB. And like, we were like, I remember asking LeBron, we were like, LeBron, how's the chemistry and mood on the team? He's 18. We're fine. What about, so I remember we had to wait for Paul Silas to come out of the office to try to get a comment. He'd already spoken to us, but now, this had happened. And so we wait very uneasily. So, sure enough, about 20 minutes, we never saw Ira again. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I mean, he somehow made it back to Cleveland. I don't know if he went with the team or not. He did get suspended. And Ira, I remember asking Ira about it, and he goes, I said, do you regret that? He goes, yeah, I regret it. I go, getting a screaming match with your coach. He's like, no, it cost me $30,000. So, because that was what the suspension cost him. But I remember Paul came out of that office after we waited to see what he would say about that. And like, four of us like walked up to him and we're, trying to get a comment. He just raised his hand. And that was all that needed to be said. We all backed the hell off. We're like, all right, we'll catch you tomorrow. We'll catch you in a couple of days.
I miss when NBA coaches were willing to fight their players. And I mean that sincerely.
That was my second week on maybe third. I was like, I guess this is how it goes.
Yeah, like welcome to the NBA, right? Because you had been covering preps before that, right?
I had done some colleges, but preps, yeah. And like stuff happened. Like there was another, Ricky Davis got kicked out of a practice. The Cavs used to practice inside the arena. And one day the circus was going on. Literally the circus was going on. And we came to practice, and in the main bowl of the arena, there's 7,000 kids and 7,000 parents, and he had gotten furious at Ricky Davis and kicked Ricky Davis out of practice. And so Ricky's walking around the concourse like eating a hot dog that he bought from an open place, and he'd been kicked out of practice. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that happened in that first year that I'd never seen again. But man, there is some good memories of it.
Ricky Davis, I will always remember. He was glad they got LeBron because finally they were going to get him some help.
That's right. LeBron was brought in to support Ricky.
Now, I tell people, my brother went to graduate school at University of Iowa and played a lot of ball at the field house there. And he was talking about Ricky Davis, or Ricky was 15, right? Like people just didn't have an understanding of Ricky Davis really didn't look at LeBron. Like the way people think it's crazy that Paul Pierce thinks he's as good as Dwayne Wade. That's exactly how Ricky Davis was looking at LeBron James. Like, oh yeah, I used to be you. Yeah, cool. Let me show you the ropes.
Yeah, I mean, I always was fascinated by that relationship. I've tried to like write about it and probe on it, but no one will really talk about it. I was actually just within the last few months talking to Darius Miles, who was on that team. Remember Darius with the the head thing with him and Quentin Richardson? And he's like, no, he's like Ricky and LeBron were cool. He's like just a media thing that they didn't like each other. And I was like, if you say so, if you're holding down this 20 years later, I admire you, because they traded Ricky before November was out.
Yes.
Or maybe it was the first week of December. That's all you need to know.
Now, speaking of LeBron, as we are now in year 20.